Hey there, thanks for tuning into Duck Bricks. I'm Chris, and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new 30th anniversary LEGO Jurassic Park sets. It has been many years in the making, but finally, after a lot of years of random Jurassic World sets and random LEGO movie tie-ins and show tie-ins, we actually are getting a full wave of Jurassic Park sets to celebrate the very first movie, and they are glorious. So here we have all of the brand new sets. We can see them right here as we bring the camera around. These are 5 brand new sets specifically for the 30th anniversary of Jurassic Park. We have the Dilophosaurus Ambush, Velociraptor Escape, Triceratops Research, Brachiosaurus Discovery, and Visitor Center T-Rex and Raptor Attack. 5 new sets to celebrate the first movie. Let's go ahead and get into them right now because there's so much I have to say. Okay, so here is the entirety of the brand new Jurassic Park LEGO Wave for 2023. Starting off, we have a 4+ set. 76957 is the Velociraptor Escape, retailing for $40 US, although this one LEGO actually provided to me for review. The rest of the sets here I purchased myself. The next one is set number 76958 Dilophosaurus Ambush. It comes with a truck as well as a little bit of a sign for the e-stock and retails for an amazing $20, which is a surprisingly good price. Also comes with, of course, the Dilophosaurus. Next one we have is the 76959 Triceratops Research, retails for $50 US, comes with the classic Jurassic Park Jeep here as well as the Triceratops and a pile of dino doo-doo. Next we have 76960 Brachiosaurus Discovery, introducing the Brachiosaurus for the first time in the LEGO Jurassic Park / World style of dinosaurs, which is absolutely amazing, a true heater of a dinosaur, and this retails for $80 US and 85 euros. And lastly, we have set number 76961 Visitor Center T-Rex and Raptor Attack, retailing for $130 US and 130 euros. Now, obviously the prices of these are definitely skewed towards the dinosaurs. There's 693 pieces available in the Visitor Center set, but it's $130 because it comes with 2 dinosaurs. A similar thing is the case for the Brachiosaurus Discovery. 512 pieces for $80 normally doesn't sound like a good deal, except really what you're paying for is that amazing Brachiosaurus. And I think that aside from the Visitor Center, a lot of the builds here, at least for the landscapes and locations, like the tree as well as the 4+ set, are really just kind of on the side and meant to just make the dinosaurs look better. That being said, one thing that I really do like a lot about this wave is that they put a lot of emphasis on probably one of the most iconic parts of the Jurassic Park franchise, which are these vehicles right here. Of course, you have the lime green and yellow Jeep, but you also have some of these other types of vehicles that really are just super reminiscent of the movies themselves. Now, it has been a long time coming. We've been waiting for Jurassic Park sets for a long time. Now, around the time that the second Jurassic World movie was coming out, we got like one Jurassic Park set, which was the kitchen inside the Visitor Center, which was nice, but it really was only one. It took them so long to even give us one of the lime green Jeeps right here, one of the cars. It took them so long to even just give us one of the classic lime green Ford Explorers, and even then, it was pretty much just restricted to an incredibly expensive diorama set, and you really couldn't get this anywhere else. Thankfully though, LEGO has finally rectified that mistake, giving us not 1, not 2, but 3 different iconic vehicles from the Jurassic Park franchise to actually have in somewhat affordable sets. The most notable of which is the $20 set featuring this vehicle right here, which is probably one of the best valued LEGO sets of this entire year, and I still cannot believe they were only charging $20 for it. So I think the thing to do here is to start off with the dinosaurs, because obviously a lot of people just want to see the dinosaurs and that's the most important thing to most folks, which I totally understand because the dinosaurs are arguably the most important part of these sets. Starting off with the smallest one here, we have the mold for the Dilophosaurus returning. This is actually a mold that they introduced a while ago that is a smaller version of it, which is a little bit more correctly scaled to minifigures. Initially, we had a much larger one in the first wave of Jurassic World sets back in 2015, where we had it kind of the same size as a Raptor, which doesn't really make sense, at least from what we've seen in the movies. So what they did somewhat recently, or at least a few years ago, is that they introduced this smaller mold for the Dilophosaurus, and this one is colored specifically in those classic colors that we saw in the original Jurassic Park movie. I like that you can open the mouth close and shut, but really that's all the articulation you get. Other than a bit of a rubbery bend to the tail, you cannot really articulate this whatsoever. Personally, I think it would have been nice to maybe have included some sort of articulation, although I don't really know how they could have done it, because there isn't enough space for Technic pins to even attach to these, so I completely understand that they just made it one fixed object, which I think just works fine for this creature. I love the color scheme on this. The olive color really looks good against the dark green. I just think this is a really nice blend and coloration for this creature, and we can now move on. The next recolor that we get is for the Raptor. This is specifically supposed to represent the Raptor from Jurassic Park. We again have gotten the Jurassic Park Raptor already back in 2018, but this is a slightly updated print for it. They have given us a little bit new detail. You have some nice gray stripes on the side. There's some more detail to the face itself. Like all Raptors, you can open and close the mouth with a very satisfying click. Of course, this has the full articulation, so you can bend the legs, you can bend the arms, and you actually have two of them throughout the entire wave, one of which comes in the 4+ Raptor Escape set, which I really do appreciate because it is a somewhat cheap way to actually get this rare Jurassic Park Raptor and not have to pay for the entire large-scale visitor center. The next one up is one of my traditional favorite dinosaurs. I am always a big fan of the Triceratops. And this is a brand new recolor for the Triceratops. The most interesting thing about it is that the horns are actually brown colored. Usually we get a more neutral or white color for the horns to really make them stand out, but they really wanted to replicate the one that you see in the movie itself, so they've kind of made this brown and nougat colored Triceratops, which I think looks really good. I love the coloration on this. You can kind of see some of these spikes cascading down the side of the back, which just looks so good, and overall, always great to get a Triceratops. A lot of people were wondering when they would bring back the Triceratops mold after they first introduced it in the Dino sets from 2012, and then when Jurassic World came back, they did not have a Triceratops in the lineup, but thankfully a few years ago LEGO decided to bring it back, and it has been going ever since. It's really good to get a recolor that actually is accurate to the original Jurassic Park movie. Next up, one of the honestly most uninteresting ones is the T-Rex here. It's a brand new print. You have some of the scars on the side, which I think is really good, and you have a nice new expression for the T-Rex, but honestly, we've seen 1,000 T-Rexes from LEGO before, and this one is just another version of the Jurassic Park T-Rex, which has appeared in the Jurassic World movies, so we've gotten a lot of T-Rexes that are supposed to be this exact character, like this exact T-Rex we've gotten in LEGO form before, except, or at least character-wise, except this time they've updated the printing yet again, probably just to have an exclusive dinosaur to the T-Rex visitor center there, which obviously this is the set that it comes in, and that's pretty much all I have to say about the T-Rex itself. If you own one, you kinda own them all. And I say that as the person who bought the $6,000 exclusive T-Rex, but that was more because I'm insane. And finally, we have the best new dinosaur. This one is definitely going to be one of the most popular ones. It is the Brachiosaurus. So this is the first time we're actually getting one in this style for LEGO. We had a few brick build ones for the original canister dino line all the way back in the early 2000s, but finally we are actually getting one for LEGO Jurassic Park, which I'm so happy to get. The mouth can open and close, so you can see right here, you can do that. So you can have him be chewing some branches. You can raise and lower the neck. Surprisingly, despite there being kind of a cutoff for the lower neck, you can't lower it past this point. Like, this is the lowest point you can actually move it, which is a little weird because there is still that cutoff. I would have expected to be able to at least move it all the way down, but no, that's pretty much the lowest you can do. And otherwise you can kind of raise the head up to be exactly how you want it to be. The head itself is mounted on a ratchet joint, so you can have it look up and down. You can also have it look side to side, so you can kind of have this be swaying its neck side to side, which is just a really nice and satisfying motion. And you can even move the tail back and forth, which is the same tail that's used on T-Rexes. Overall, this is a really amazing dinosaur. I am a big fan of how they were able to actually give us a full-on build for this. The only thing that feels like a bit of a miss to me is that you can't articulate the legs. I really wanted to be able to move those legs around. I feel like they could have done it, but that would have also compromised on the shape. Again, if you look at it from the top down, it has a really wide body. Like, this is one wide boy, and I guess if you wanted to make this fully flat, it wouldn't really have been possible to be able to also move the legs, so I understand why LEGO did it this way, but it still would have been nice to have just a little bit more articulation. but it's not a big deal. I mean, this is still a really amazing and cute LEGO dinosaur. Like, this is just so much fun. Big fan of the way this turned out, and I know a lot of people are getting that set literally just for this, and I don't blame them. With the main attraction aside, though, I think we can now take a look at each and every one of the individual sets. I guess there is technically one other dinosaur to take a look at, and that's a T-Rex skeleton, but we'll save that one for when we actually zoom in on the visitor center itself. We're going to start from smallest to largest and work our way up. The smallest set is coincidentally also one of my favorite, if not my favorite set. This actually might be my favorite set just because of the amazing value. So I'm going to set everything else aside and we can zoom in on this set right here, which again, I still cannot believe is only $20. This is officially the Dilophosaurus Ambush 76958, retails for $20 US, but a very unfortunate 27 euros. So folks in Europe have it a little bit less fortunate than we do in the US. I don't even know what LEGO was thinking when they made this 20 bucks in the US, because this is going to sell like crazy in the US. Sorry for the folks tuning in from Europe and around the world that have a much worse price. We clearly have the best price here, but it's not always that way. In fact, a lot of times it's the other way around. So I guess LEGO decided to switch it around this time. So what we have here is that we have, of course, Nedry, who is a really great minifigure to get. I'm really happy that we're able to get this updated version of the character, a very, very memorable one as well. So overall, this has two different expressions. You have the version of him that obviously he's got some of the poison on his face, so this is right before his death, which is pretty funny to get that as a LEGO expression. And then you have a very scared expression on the other side, like he's in the rain and he's kind of scared, he doesn't know where he's going. The sign for the East Dock got turned around. What's really special is that they've actually printed the Barbasol can, which he was using to smuggle the DNA out of the park. They've printed a piece on the top, as well as printed the 1x1 cylinder, which is really special. And I like how the printing even kind of suggests his like body shape, like you have a bulge around the belly there, which is just really funny to see. Overall, a great minifigure to complement a great set. The dock side itself has a fun feature where you can not only spin it around, like obviously in the movie, when it was raining, the sign itself was spinning all over the place, so he didn't know how to get to the dock to escape, but it also can just fall down as well when the Jeep crashes into it, so that is a very fun feature to have. Obviously the Dilophosaurus is hiding there in the bushes, but once you actually open the car up, there's ample space. There's seating for, I guess, really only one minifigure. You could put a minifigure in the back here, but obviously it looks like it's supposed to have two seats, but really another minifig will not fit in there because of the way the arms work, but that's okay because you only really need to put one in. Otherwise, the build for the vehicle is almost identical to the build that we get in the other set, the Brachiosaurus set, except that one was a bit of a convertible, but if you put them next to each other, like you can see just how similar these are in terms of building techniques. Overall, this is a really interesting one because I also like how they have tried to actually build in mud into the color scheme itself. You have a really nice graphic design for the sticker, which is showcasing that this side of the hood is muddy and that mud's kind of starting to cover the Jurassic Park sticker here. You have asymmetrical aspects to the build where you have a muddy side here and then a gray side there. Of course, you have the mud on the places where you step onto it, and there's actually a lot of thought put into the placement of the dirt to make this feel like a rugged off-road lived-in vehicle. Again, $20, amazing. I'm surprised it wasn't $30 because it's pretty much $30 in every other part of the world, so thanks LEGO. Moving on from this set, we can take a look at the next one, which probably has the least interesting build. This is the 4 Plus Raptor Pen, but the most exciting thing about it is that for the first time we are getting Robert Muldoon as an actual LEGO minifigure. They did not give us his minifigure back when they did the Jurassic Park opening gates, so I think it's really cool how we finally get a minifigure of that character. A very iconic character from the movie with a perfect facial expression. I mean, that is just perfect. I love how they also included leg printing here. This is a really deluxe minifigure for just appearing in a random 4 Plus set, so that's really nice. Otherwise, pretty much what you get in this is what you see. It has a little bit of a buggy for you to drive around in, you have an egg for the raptors, and you also have a raptor to be put in the pen itself. This obviously is showcasing the scene of his death, like you can make the raptor eat him, so I find that really funny. The LEGO designers actually explicitly stated that they included some feeding scenario play into it, so let's say he's not eating him, like let's say that they're having a friendly relationship, so you can lower down the food and feed the raptor itself on a chain, and then lower it, raise it back up if you want to kind of have the bucket go up. There's a chicken leg inside of it, Everyone knows, like the adult fans know, this is the set that you get if you want him to be eaten by the raptor, but the LEGO designers explicitly said they had to build in some play features to leave it open to interpretation. So that I find pretty funny. Obviously, this is a 4+ set, so there's not a ton going on with it. You have a gate that can swing open and shut here. This is kind of its own module, and each and every one of the pieces was built as its own module, which I thought was interesting because it implies that you really have an emphasis on building this with friends or with your family. And what's very nice is that since all prints in 4+ builds or all decals are printed, we have a really nice round 1x1 circle with the Jurassic Park logo on it in yellow, which is probably going to be a very, very useful piece. Setting aside this set here, and also, oh yeah, by the way, comes with this Dune Buggy and Ellie Sattler, which is just kind of a throwaway 4+ build. We can move on to the next set, which is the Triceratops Research. So, by the way, that set retailed for $40 US, which for a 4+ set that comes with a dinosaur, yeah, that's pretty understandable. I mean, it's not super surprising that the set costs that much. What is surprising to me is how much this set costs, because this costs, maybe not surprising, but unfortunate, $50 US. It comes with the Triceratops, the pile of Triceratops poo, as well as the classic iconic Jeep. And yeah, everyone's gonna want this because it comes with the Ford Explorer, which is so nice to get. Like, it's really cool to get this as a standalone set. It's cheaper than buying the big diorama with the T-Rex to get it, that's for sure. But it also feels like, wow, $50 is really stretching it. Like, maybe the dinosaurs 20? That's pushing it. Like, the dinosaur should not be 20 on its own. Like, I would say like 15, but okay. I mean, on Bricklink, it's gonna be like 45, so you know it is what it is, but obviously, like, let's say LEGO counts this as 20 bucks. Do I feel like this and this is 30? Maybe, like, probably, but that's still pretty high. 53 euros is even worse because that translates to around $55 US, I believe. So that's actually even worse. Actually, the exact USD equivalent for the euro price is 57. So this is almost $60 in Europe, making it a much worse deal. Again, the US is surprisingly getting cheaper prices for these sets, but how this works is that you can open this up here. You can just remove the windscreen. Thankfully, there's seating for 4 thanks to the way that they actually have laid out the seats there. So you can have Ellie Sattler and Ian Malcolm being able to sit inside the truck itself. So you can have this be rolling around. It is super authentic. The Ford Explorer logo is on the back there, which is nice that they have the licensing deal for that. And inside the Triceratops poo, you can even see remnants of the food it was eating, which obviously was part of the scene in the movie, so that was pretty nice to see. Overall, feels a little overpriced. Like, this doesn't feel like a $50 set to me. 40 maybe, I think would have been fair, but again, that Triceratops does add a lot to the price. Moving onwards, we just have 2 more sets here, so let's go ahead and take a look at the final, or the second to last set. This is, of course, the Brachiosaurus Discovery, which comes with a full-on build for a tree, as well as a little bit of a Jeep for them to ride around in. So I'm going to set these aside so you can just get a close-up look at what that looks like. 76960, this retails for $80 US or 85 euros. Another not good Europe price because that retails for around $91 after translation in Europe. $80 is... it's probably fair for this. Like, you get the brand new dinosaur. That is a massive investment in molds to be able to get that new dinosaur. I really think it's just so cool. It's obviously the star of the show here. Most people will objectively just be buying this for the dinosaur, and I can't even complain. Like, when people buy superhero sets for the minifigures, I'm always like, I mean, well, you could always get it off of Bricklink, or I don't know if you needed to buy this, like, mediocre set for the minifigs, but for this, like, yeah, you buy the set for this. But honestly, the Jeep is actually really good as well. Like, this is a really solid build for the Jeep. Obviously, it is very similar to the $20 set, but it kind of is a non-muddy version of it, as well as an open-top convertible. So you can open this up, and it does seat 3 minifigures, the 3 minifigs in the set. You've got Hammond, Alan, and Ellie, which are really good minifigs to get, as well as alternate faces for all of them, except for Hammond, who's wearing a hat. And I like that Ellie is also holding the leaf, which obviously mimics a classic scene in the movie itself. Overall, really nice to get this Jurassic Park Jeep. The tree itself is just kind of okay. Like, there's not much you can even do with it. It's really just a build for a tree. And it clearly is something that LEGO designers were like, okay, we want to include this in a set. What do we put with it? I guess a tree. It makes sense, but it's also kind of a boring tree. Like, I literally have nothing to say about it. They use brown hot dogs as branches, so that's kind of cool. But it's not like that good looking, it's just an okay tree. Overall, the Jeep is nice, knowing that this costs around $20 for LEGO, and let's say this is another 20, that's 40. Let's say then LEGO costs 40 bucks for this, like, I don't know. Like, let's say maybe this is 30, 20, so this is 50, 30 bucks for this. I can see where LEGO's getting the prices, but it's high. It's $80 for this is a lot, but you have to, I mean, I can't even, like, it is overpriced, but all the Jurassic sets are because they have these amazing dinosaurs, and this incorporates 4 new molds, like 4 big new molds for LEGO, so I get it. I don't agree with it, but I get it. Lastly, we have the final set here, which is the Visitor Center. So that one has been rumored for a long time, and a lot of people were really excited it was going to be like a diorama style set, and was going to be super omega detailed and have all the stuff that you'd want to see, and then it turned out that it's a playset. And that's okay. Playsets are nice, but I definitely know that people were really hoping to have an 18+ style Visitor Center, which I think they still could do as a very successful set, but they just didn't do it for this one. 76961 is the Visitor Center T-Rex and Raptor Attack, retailing for $130 or 130 euros. The Eurozone price roughly translates to around 140 US dollars, so it's about $10 more in Europe, but that is what it is. Comes with a whole host of different minifigures. You can see a lot of the side characters from the movie here, so it's really cool to get different characters, but I know the minifigures are not really the main attraction. I like how a lot of them have these new alternate expressions. Alan doesn't, but a lot of them do, where you have just different expressions for each of the characters, like Dr. Wu here. It's good to get him in the younger version. Ellie Sattler is using a headpiece that we've seen before specifically for her, but that makes sense. And you even have other sorts of characters, like this was Samuel L. Jackson's character, whose name is escaping me right now as I film this review, but you have a happy and scared expression. And of course, the kids themselves have happy and scared expressions, as they should, because they should be scared of the dinosaurs. So you've got happy and sad. Overall, though, the main attraction is actually the Visitor Center itself. The T-Rex and the Raptor are good inclusions to get, and they make sense for the scene. Obviously, a lot of people, I'm guessing, will be getting it for these, but this is actually a really solid build. First of all, I like how they've done this skeleton of a T-Rex. This actually does stand up on its own if you want to remove it from the base. The head is a little bit goofy and oversized, but I can see what they were going for. Like, I can get the general aesthetic and point for what they were trying to do with this. But obviously the main focus is the Visitor Center itself. This is a really nicely rendered building for LEGO. I actually like the amount of detail they were able to pack into what basically is just a facade, so you can open up the double doors here, which were introduced for LEGO City pretty recently. Love the artwork going around of the T-Rex skeleton. The architecture is really nice and really accurate for the movie itself, from the domed roof to all of these kind of curved pieces being used all around. And then, as you rotate it back, you have the removable banner for when dinosaurs ruled the earth, and you actually have a play feature with that, where if you press this knob, you can, well, that was pretty violent, but you can actually cause it to fall down over the dinosaur itself, which I think is a really cool thing, because obviously super iconic part of the movie was having this go downwards, and you actually have different scenes from the movie that you've replicated here. You have the food being laid out on the table where the kids were eating the jelly and the cake and having a good time before they saw the raptors, where if we move the camera in a little bit here, we actually have transparent stickers, which is really cool. Like, they specifically made the stickers transparent, so if you want to have the actual raptor behind there, you can kind of showcase its head looking through, which is a really cool design, which is obviously what they had in the movie itself. And then on the other side, you have another great sticker here, another good transparent sticker, where rotating this around, you can get a nice view of the lab. So you have that printed 1x1 brick with amber. You also have an egg here, and I also really like the egg incubator, as well as Mr. DNA right there, which is a nice little sticker to get. Overall, for $130, yeah, this seems like pretty overpriced. I definitely feel like, obviously, the dinosaurs add a lot to the cost of the set, because it doesn't have that many pieces, although it does cost $130. I really feel like this should have been closer to $100, to be completely honest. The building itself feels like it's worth maybe $80. Okay, add like $5 for this, $7, $8 maybe. The T-Rex, of course, 15, and then maybe this is like 5. I don't know, like, there's a way that you can do the math and make it work, 130 just does seem pretty high for me just in terms of what you have, but again, it is our first official LEGO Visitor Center. Fingers crossed that LEGO will just eventually actually make a full-on 18+ one, because that would be a sight to behold. With that, we've about summed up our look at the entire Jurassic Park 2023 wave. I'm super curious, let me know down in the comments what you think of these builds. I actually think that, surprisingly so, the builds are not bad. There's a reason why I actually wanted to review them. It's because I feel like for a lot of prior waves of Jurassic World sets, I can't think of really any builds that actually interested me that much. A lot of them were just kind of okay. It's just like, alright, well, we've got like another part of a Jurassic World gate. Or we have, here's this vehicle that never appeared in the movie, or here's this thing that also will never appear in the movies. But here you actually have all things that did appear in the movies, especially being able to get these iconic vehicles at a fairly cheap price is really nice. Like, the Jeeps and the Ford Explorer are really affordable compared to a lot of the other times where LEGO would typically try to lock them behind more expensive stuff. So I'm actually kind of happy with the fact that all of the builds feel like they are worth something. Like, a fan of the movie can get something out of all the builds. And in a theme where most of the builds are throwaways, I honestly only feel like the tree, but you can incorporate that into a Jurassic Park scene. And maybe the Raptor Pen being 4+ are kind of throwaways, but it's still accurate to what you see. Like, this is still the color scheme and build of what you see in the movies, and same for even the tree and all the vehicles, of course. So I'm honestly really happy with this wave. The US actually has pretty good prices, especially for this. This is really well priced. The rest are okay, like I think this is overpriced, I think that's overpriced, I think that's overpriced, but you know, it's Jurassic World. I mean, everything's overpriced. And it's 2023 in LEGO, a lot of things cost a lot of money. But overall, I'm happy with the builds, and I'm happy that every single set does actually feature something very important in the movie as the build itself. I'm sure this wave is going to be super successful for a lot of adult fans who are nostalgic for the movie, and I'm really happy that finally, at long last, LEGO has given us what we wanted and done a full-on Jurassic Park movie wave. Now where's my Spinosaurus for the future movies? Alright, and with that, we have summed up our look at the brand new Jurassic Park LEGO sets. Let me know down in the comments below, which one is your favorite? How would you rank these sets? And for me, I'm just really excited to get so many brand new dinosaurs, especially that Brachiosaurus. Yes, we have gotten a ton of dinosaurs over the years, especially a ton of T-Rexes, but it is really cool to get a brand new color of them, especially after getting so many different variations of that type of design over the years. And I certainly can't wait to add the rest of the dinosaurs, including the new Raptors and the Triceratops, to my LEGO Dinosaurs display, which I actually have right here, showcasing many of the different dinosaurs that we've gotten over the years. With that, we have summed up this look at all of the brand new Jurassic Park 30th anniversary sets. Thank you so much for tuning in to DuckBricks. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more LEGO news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Thank you so much, and bye for now.